Sharp Game here, coming at you from ChooseYourRelationships.com, author of Love Can't Wait, which can be found on Amazon.com. And if you've been following me for a while, you know that I say consistently that if you're a black male living in this country, around the world, really, you're by yourself. We all we got. And, you know, I've traveled around the world. And whether you know this or not, we have an unfair advantage. And I've never met anyone that's like us. We're some of the baddest motherfuckers on the planet. No one has our style, charisma, and no one can move and shake like us, especially black males. And this is one reason why we're some of the most hated motherfuckers on the planet. Because no one can do what we do, socially, physically. I mean, if the playing field was set up fair, Imano, one guy if it's one guy in the front of me, and we're having a race to the finish line, or we're in competition against each other, he's not gonna beat me. If it's set up fair, he's not gonna beat me. But if the game is rigged, or if the system is rigged, he might beat me, because he has the unfair advantage. And that's part of the problem with us today. See, a lot of us, we get, including myself at one point, we get caught up into this system. See, they'll let you, in America especially, they'll let you play the game, but you can't rewrite the rules. This is why a lot of athletes, a lot of entertainers, this is really across the board in any profession, really. There's so much ridicule and so much negative press being spilled against black people all the time, because the game wasn't ever set up for you to win. See, it's like this. If you come to my house, you can't shine in my house unless I want you to shine. And if you come to my house, you have to abide by my rules, because you're in my house. And that's the problem that we have today. We've fallen into this trap because the system is created by white guys for white guys. And see, a lot of us don't understand. A lot of us think we're part of what happens in American society, and nothing can be further from the truth. I mean, that's not even practical. I mean, there's no evidence of that. I mean, the only way you can become a part of American society is to take it. You got to force them to do it. They have to have something to lose. You have to embarrass them. That's how you get shit done. You can't ask people for shit all the time. If you have to ask people for shit all the time, you're never going to get anywhere. Just like when it comes to women, a lot of guys ask women for too much shit. I mean, you can't ask women for everything. You have to tell them. Tell them how it is. Tell them where you stand. And if they're down with it, they'll stay. But most of them are going to leave. And you have to be fine with that. But that's the problem with us today. See, it's like this. See, everybody else around the world, especially in America, they're taking bits and pieces from us. Our habits, our way of thinking, our way of speaking, our music, our anything, you name it. They're taking bits and pieces from us. Look at the white women. They're taking our women's features, the lips, the ass. I mean, they're having surgery. They're getting surgery done today more than ever. So they're taking bits and pieces from us, and most black people don't want to be themselves. We want to be everything else but black. But the problem is, we're going in reverse. We're going down a recipe for a disaster. Because if you don't know who you are, you're always going to be spinning your wheels. You're always going to have to start all over. So, I mean, we lost our way. I mean, I don't know how exactly it happened years ago. But I mean, I know history. I know a lot of history on how things came to be. But somehow we've lost our way. And I think it has to do with economic empowerment, because we're the only people, or I'm not going to say we're the only people, but we're the easiest group of people to get paid off. And the reason why that is because we don't have political power. We don't have our control over our economy. We don't have a sense of generating money amongst each other. That's one of the main reasons for that. We don't know. We haven't. I'm not gonna say we haven't figured out how to control, how to create our economy, but we haven't been able to sustain it since the 60s. Because what happens is integration was probably the biggest mistake, in my opinion, because a lot of black people dropped what they was doing, abandoned what they was doing, and started working for white folks back in the day. And nothing was passed down to the next generation. Plus, there were a lot of informants as well in the mix. So there was a lot of collateral damage along the way. And it still is today. It's more informants today probably than there was in the 60s, due to the internet and technology and everything else. Well, we have an unfair advantage, man, because what you have to understand is, if as a black man, you have to focus on your ground game, or your social game, or your social game rules. And this is really all we got. This is really our last shot, in my opinion. If you don't master your social game rules or your ground game, you're finished. This is really our last resort. Really. We really don't have anything else left. Because people make things happen. Right? See, we can't play the corporate game. See, that's the white guy's game. See, the white guys, he might be in the ivory tower, in the skyscraper building, looking down at everybody. See, we can't play that game, because that's his game. He uses the big businesses and the corporate America and the court system. That's the white guy's game. We can't play that game. We already know that game. The rules is set up. The laws are biased. All of that shit is corrupt. We already know that. But we as black males, as non-white people, we have to step our ground game up, our social game up. That's how we can make a difference. So until we get on the same page as one mentally, nothing's going to change across this country. Nothing's going to change across the world. And in my opinion, this is all we got. We all we got. We don't have anybody else. And that's just how it is. Because we're some of the baddest motherfuckers on the planet, man. There's nobody like us. No one has our style, charm, charisma. And no one can move and shake like us. No one can dominate industries like us. No one can master things like us. No one can learn as fast like us. And this is why, one reason why we're the most hated motherfuckers on the planet. Because a lot of the white guys, they know it is true. They know it is true. And they know they can't do anything to stop it. That's why, and they know every once in a while somebody is going to slip through the cracks. That's how the system is built. But the majority of black people are not going to make it. And the system is set up like that. And they start grabbing the kids and attacking the kids at an early age now. It used to be when you like 17, 18, 19, 20, you're like under siege. But no, now they get at the kids early now. They be like 9, 10, 11 years old, they're getting at the kids. So if you have kids, you really have to give your kids the game early now. It's not the way it used to be. But you have to master the social game rules, your ground game. You have to really upgrade your social skills. That's the only way we're going to make it. That's the only way we're going to see any type of change, really, as far as people go. See, what you have to understand is anybody, you can socialize any group of people. Anybody can be socialized. You can conquer anybody. But some things are just natural. It just is what it is when it comes to us. And this is what they hate. This is where all the negative press and all the smear campaigns come into play at. And this is where all the brainwashing comes into play at. And all the stereotypes. And all of that. It's all a bunch of bullshit. And majority of people, if they look at the television, they're going to believe probably 95% of everything they see. Because what happens is, if I don't like you, there's nothing you can say or do that I'm going to agree on. I'm going to say that again. If I don't like you, there's nothing you can say or do that I'm going to agree on. And most white people in this country are like that. And most non-white people, they're just following suit. They're just following the status quo. Because the status quo is a nice way of saying, hey, just make everything look nice and don't embarrass us. And they'll sacrifice anybody to protect the bottom line. That's all the status quo is. That's all it is. And this is why you see a lot of big corporations and organizations, they're not loyal to any human being, whether it's athletics or big businesses or whatever. They're not loyal to anybody. You see this in sports a lot. They're not loyal to any players or any woman that's playing sports. They're not loyal. They're expendable, especially in football. They're expendable. They're not loyal to anybody. You're expendable. Anybody can be replaced. But that's why we have the unfair advantage. Because no one can move and shake and got the charisma that we have. They might try to model and take and steal, but our shit is natural. It's innate in nature. But we got caught up. Somehow we forgot our way. We forgot who we was. We became a part of the system instead of being against the system. We wanted to be like everybody else but ourselves. But it's time for us to go in a different direction. We don't have no choice. Otherwise, it ain't no telling what the next generation is going to look like. So step your ground game up. So if you like what you heard, subscribe to my channel. Check out my blog, chooseyourrelationship.com. Until next time, Sharp Game is out. Peace.